Ever wonder how a small family-owned burger joint in Virginia became a global fast food giant without ever running a single national TV ad? This is the story of Five Guys, a brand built on a simple yet revolutionary idea: make an amazing burger, and the people will come. Our story starts in Arlington, Virginia, back in 1986. The fast food scene was a battlefield dominated by giants like McDonald's and Burger King, all fighting over price and speed. But a couple named Janie and Jerry Morrill had a different vision. Jerry wasn't a seasoned restaurateur, but he believed in quality, consistency, and treating everyone, from customers to employees, with respect. They wanted to create a burger experience that put fresh flavor first, no matter what. The name Five Guys was a personal touch, a nod to their family. Jerry and Janie had 4 sons, and when they made family decisions, they called themselves the Five Guys. It was simple, unpretentious, and a world away from the corporate names of their competitors. This wasn't just a business, it was a family affair. From day one, Five Guys did things differently. While other chains were freezing their meat and using pre-made patties, Five Guys refused. Every single burger patty was hand-formed daily from fresh ground beef. Their potatoes were freshly cut each morning for the fries, and the toppings were always free and plentiful. Customers could literally create their perfect burger, and they noticed the difference immediately. The flavors were bold, the portions were generous, and the service was surprisingly warm and personal. Word of mouth became their secret weapon. While competitors poured millions into advertising, Five Guys relied on their reputation. People came for the burgers, fell in love with the fries, and kept coming back because the experience felt real. The Morrills firmly believed that if they focused on making the best product and treated their team well, success would naturally follow. They were right. By the early 1990s, Five Guys was a local legend. Long lines snaking out the door of their small Arlington shop became a common sight. But unlike the big chains, Five Guys never rushed people. They encouraged customization, letting each person design their meal exactly how they wanted. This focus on individual choice built an incredibly loyal fan base and set them apart from every other fast food option. But with popularity came the challenge of growth. The Morrills wanted to expand, but they were cautious. They didn't immediately jump on a franchising bandwagon. Instead, they were deliberate, making sure that every new location could perfectly replicate the quality and service of the original. This wasn't about rapid expansion. It was about protecting the brand's soul. The real turning point came in 2003. After successfully opening a few more locations themselves, Jerry and Janie finally decided to franchise. It was a huge risk. Franchising can often dilute a brand's quality, but the Morrills were meticulous. They partnered with business consultants to create a scalable model that didn't compromise their core values. Every single franchisee had to go through intense training and follow a strict set of rules to ensure the Five Guys experience remained consistent. The strategy was brilliant in its simplicity. While other chains were constantly adding new items to their menus, Five Guys kept theirs incredibly focused: burgers, fries, and hot dogs. This simplicity allowed them to scale efficiently and maintain an obsessive focus on quality control. By the mid-2000s, Five Guys locations started popping up in cities all across the United States. They also stumbled upon a powerful marketing tool almost by accident: their open kitchens. Customers could see their burgers being made, their fresh-cut fries being cooked, and the entire process unfold right before their eyes. This transparency built a massive amount of trust. It wasn't just a meal, it was a show. Watching the crew work became part of the fun, turning a simple lunch into a memorable event. By 2006, Five Guys was no longer a regional secret. It was a national sensation. People would travel just to try the famous burgers and fries they'd heard about. Online reviews and local news stories fanned the flames of curiosity. Social proof became their growth engine. Photos of overflowing fry cups and juicy foil-wrapped burgers spread across the internet, creating a buzz that money couldn't buy. The brand was growing organically, driven by genuine customer love. But what truly made Five Guys special was its culture. Jerry and Janie built a workplace where employees were respected and empowered. This positive energy was contagious. It spilled over to the customers, creating a welcoming and authentic atmosphere in every store. In a world of standardized, impersonal service, this human touch was a game changer. It was a competitive advantage that couldn't be copied. The early story of Five Guys is a powerful lesson in patience, consistency, and smart strategy. They didn't rely on flashy marketing gimmicks. They simply focused on delivering an exceptional product, building real relationships with their customers, and growing with care and intention. These core principles transformed a humble family burger joint into a billion-dollar empire, winning over burger lovers across the country and eventually the world. In the late 2000s, Five Guys was the talk of Washington, D.C., a beloved local burger joint with a fiercely loyal following, but the Morrell family had bigger dreams. They weren't content with just being a regional favorite. They wanted to take their fresh, hand-formed burgers and hand-cut fries to the entire nation. But turning a local gem into a national powerhouse is one of the hardest things to do in the food business. This next chapter would be a massive test of their core principles. Could the same quality, the same consistency, and the same unique culture be replicated thousands of miles away from their home base in Arlington, Virginia? The key was franchising. But Five Guys didn't just sell franchises to anyone with a checkbook. They were incredibly selective. While other chains chased rapid growth at any cost, the Morrells looked for partners who shared their obsession with quality. Every single applicant was put through extensive vetting. Those who made the cut weren't just given a rulebook. They were immersed in the Five Guys way of life. They learned everything, from how to hand-form the patties just right, to the precise two-stage cooking process for the fries. The family believed that one bad burger or one soggy batch of fries in a single location could tarnish the entire brand. There were no second chances. By 2006, the red and white checkerboard began popping up in cities like Baltimore, Philadelphia, and even the hyper-competitive New York City. These big cities came with their own set of challenges: smaller kitchens, sky-high rent, and limited delivery options. But none of it mattered. Five Guys thrived because its core identity, freshness, customization, and an open, honest kitchen was exactly what people wanted. Almost overnight, long lines started forming at every new location. Customers were more than willing to wait 20 or even 30 minutes for a burger made right in front of them. The word-of-mouth buzz wasn't just a marketing tactic. It was a wildfire, the primary engine driving their explosive growth. Soon the media caught on. National food blogs, lifestyle magazines, and TV shows started praising Five Guys for its cult-like following and unwavering dedication to quality. Critics loved the no-frills approach. There were no fancy themes or complicated menus. Just simple white paper bags, red and white decor, and a laser focus on burgers and fries. This raw simplicity gave Five Guys an authentic charm that no amount of advertising money could ever buy. It felt real because it was. But with this incredible success came immense pressure. Five Guys was no longer just competing with other local spots. They were now playing in the big leagues against giants like McDonald's and Burger King. To win, they had to maintain that handcrafted feel while handling massive order volumes. Their supply chain had to be flawless, ensuring every potato and every piece of beef was perfectly fresh, no matter where the restaurant was located. A single mistake wasn't just embarrassing. It was incredibly costly, both in dollars and in reputation. Every single franchise had to be a beacon of excellence. Around this time, the early seeds of social media began to sprout, and Five Guys was a natural fit. People started posting pictures of their burgers loaded with toppings and their bags overflowing with that famous extra scoop of fries. This created a wave of organic marketing that was the envy of the industry. The Morrells leaned into it, encouraging franchisees to keep the presentation consistent. Even the small details, like the open kitchen and the neatly stacked boxes of potatoes, were designed to be visually appealing and shareable. It was an Instagram-worthy experience before Instagram was even a thing. This national expansion also proved how vital their company culture was. Five Guys didn't just hire employees. They trained them to be guardians of the brand. Meticulous preparation, obsessive attention to detail, and genuine, friendly service were non-negotiable. At a time when many fast food workers felt like cogs in a machine, Five Guys employees felt a sense of ownership and pride. They weren't just flipping burgers. They were part of something special. And customers felt that connection. They saw the care that went into their food, and that human touch became a powerful, unspoken reason to keep coming back. By 2010, hundreds of Five Guys locations were open across the United States. And through all this growth, they resisted the temptation to complicate things. While competitors were frantically adding salads, chicken sandwiches, and desserts to their menus, Five Guys stayed true to its roots: burgers and fries. That's it. Some analysts thought this was a risky strategy, warning that the narrow focus couldn't sustain long-term growth. But they were wrong. That focus became the brand's greatest strength. Customers knew exactly what they were getting every single time: an amazing burger, incredible fries, and a friendly no-nonsense vibe. Five Guys also carved out a brilliant strategic position. While McDonald's competed on speed and price, Five Guys competed on quality and experience. While Wendy's pushed variety, Five Guys focused on doing just a few things better than anyone else on the planet. This clear differentiation created a level of customer loyalty that was practically unheard of in the fast food world. Even if a new burger joint opened up next door, Five Guys fans weren't switching. They were hooked on an experience that simply couldn't be replicated. The brand also began adapting to changing habits. Takeout and delivery were becoming more popular, but Five Guys was cautious. They knew that a cold, soggy burger delivered late could damage their reputation. So instead of just blindly partnering with delivery apps, they invested in training and improving their kitchen workflow to ensure that even orders leaving the store were held to the same high standard. This delicate balance between growth and quality was everything. Every franchisee knew that cutting corners was not an option. The morals were completely uncompromising. By the mid-2010s, Five Guys was a household name. It was no longer a DC secret. It was a national symbol of what fast food could be when you pair operational excellence with real authenticity. And people were willing to pay a little more for it, wait a little longer for it, and then tell all their friends about it. The company had managed to turn casual customers into passionate evangelists, a feat that even the biggest corporations struggled to achieve. Their rise also perfectly coincided with a major cultural shift. Americans were starting to care more about where their food came from. They wanted higher quality ingredients, more transparency, and a dining experience that felt genuine. With its open kitchens, fresh never-frozen beef, and endlessly customizable menu, Five Guys was perfectly positioned for this new era. The morals hadn't just built a great business. They had intuitively understood where the market was headed, long before their competitors did. What makes this story so remarkable is the deliberate, methodical pace of their growth. They didn't rush. Each new location was treated like a controlled experiment, a chance to perfect their formula for scalability without ever sacrificing brand integrity. This careful, patient approach built the unshakable foundation for the global expansion that was yet to come. It all came down to one crucial principle: trust. Trust with their customers, who knew they'd get a great meal every time. Trust with their franchisees, who knew the brand would protect its reputation. And trust within the team, from the top down. Having conquered America, Five Guys had proven that a relentless focus on quality, culture, and consistency could build a billion-dollar brand. The next stage would test them on an even grander scale as they looked beyond the nation's borders. The journey from a national contender to a global empire was just beginning. By the mid-2010s, Five Guys was a household name in America. We all knew them for their fresh, never-frozen burgers, overflowing bags of hand-cut fries, and that authentic, no-nonsense vibe. Their success was undeniable. But for the Morrow family and the leadership team, the American market was just the beginning. The real challenge, the next great frontier, was taking Five Guys global. This wasn't just about opening more stores. It was about seeing if their carefully crafted recipe for success could work in entirely new cultures with different tastes and expectations. Think about it. The core of Five Guys is all about freshness, customization, and watching your food being made right in front of you. But how do you translate that to places like Europe, Asia, or the Middle East? People there have different ideas about portion sizes, different flavor preferences, and even different expectations for what a trip to a burger joint should feel like. The team knew they couldn't just copy and paste the American model. Success abroad would demand deep research, smart local adjustments, and an iron grip on their operations. Their first big move was across the pond. In 2013, they opened their first international locations in London. This was a strategic choice. London is a global hub, already familiar with American culture and full of people hungry for a truly authentic American burger. But even in a friendly city like London, it was a massive learning curve. They had to build entirely new supply chains from the ground up. Where would they find beef that met their strict standards? What about the potatoes for their famous fries, or the buns, the lettuce, the tomatoes? Everything had to be sourced locally while maintaining the exact same quality as back home. To make sure nothing was lost in translation, they sent dedicated training teams from the US to every new store, teaching the local staff not just the how but the why behind every single detail. And the results? They were immediate and explosive. The UK locations quickly gained a cult following, just like they had in the States. People were fascinated. They loved the open kitchens, the endless topping combinations, and the sheer generosity of the portions. It wasn't uncommon to see lines stretching down the block. Social media lit up. People were posting pictures, writing reviews, and buzzing about this new burger experience. The consensus was clear. Five Guys wasn't just another chain. They were delivering something real, something personal, and something incredibly satisfying. Buoyed by their success in the UK, Five Guys set their sights on the rest of Europe, the Middle East, and eventually Asia. Each new country presented its own unique puzzle. For example, in some places, customers weren't used to the massive American portion sizes. So, Five Guys made subtle tweaks, carefully adjusting things without losing the brand's generous spirit. Sourcing fresh ingredients locally was a constant challenge, requiring them to build new relationships with farmers and suppliers and train them on the Five Guys way of doing things. It was a painstaking process, but it was non-negotiable for maintaining their promise of freshness. Their marketing strategy had to evolve too. In the US, they had grown mostly through word of mouth, but in new markets, they had to be more proactive. They focused on creating experiences that were visually stunning and highly shareable. Those open kitchens became a stage. The sight of fresh patties sizzling on the grill, the colorful array of toppings, the mountains of fries, it was all designed to be a feast for the eyes and perfect for social media. Instagram, Facebook, and later TikTok became powerful tools. They used these platforms to show off the fresh prep, the loaded fries, and those towering juicy burgers, reinforcing their message of quality, transparency, and pure indulgence. Now, you might think a global brand needs a huge, ever-changing menu, but Five Guys did things differently. While they did experiment with some region-specific toppings to cater to local tastes, they never strayed far from their core offerings. The classic burger and fries remained the stars of the show. This simplicity was a key part of their brand. It meant that a customer in Paris, Dubai, or Seoul could walk into a Five Guys and have the exact same trusted, high-quality experience they get in Virginia. That consistency builds incredible trust. Behind all of this was a relentless focus on operational excellence. You can't scale a brand like this across the globe without rock-solid systems. They implemented rigorous training programs, conducted constant operational audits, and created feedback loops to catch any issues early. Before any new store opens its doors, It went through intense quality checks to ensure everything, the food, the service, the atmosphere, was perfect. The Moro family's core philosophy was drilled into every franchisee and every employee: never, ever compromise on quality. This meticulous attention to detail is what allowed them to grow so quickly without their standards slipping. And as they grew, their social media presence became a global phenomenon. The company actively encouraged customers to share their Five Guys moments, turning user-generated content into a powerful marketing engine. Hashtags like #5Guys and #BurgerPerfection created a worldwide online community. Every photo of a stacked burger or an overflowing fry container was a free advertisement, a testimonial from a happy customer. It proved that the Five Guys experience, that feeling of getting a perfect custom-made meal, resonated with people everywhere, regardless of culture or country. By the end of the 2010s, Five Guys wasn't just an American success story. It was a global burger icon. They had stores on multiple continents, and analysts were calling them one of the fastest-growing international food brands. And they achieved this not just through clever marketing, but through a powerful combination of operational discipline, unwavering brand authenticity, and a smart, strategic approach to expansion. They proved that you could go global without losing your soul. This period also underscored the importance of company culture. Even as they adapted to local markets, the core values never changed. Employees were trained to take pride in their work, to obsess over the details, and to put the customer first. Franchisees were chosen not just for their business acumen, but for their genuine belief in the Five Guys philosophy. This created a consistent experience, ensuring that the store in Tokyo felt just as authentic as the original one in Arlington. It was a masterclass in balancing local adaptation with global consistency. Through it all, Five Guys managed to become more than just a fast food joint. It became a cultural touchstone. Its appearances in pop culture and its viral status on social media created a perception of being both exclusive and accessible. It was the casual spot you could go to for an indulgent, high-quality treat. This perception only fueled its growth, proving that in today's world, the experience you offer is just as important as the product you sell. Ultimately, the international expansion of Five Guys is a powerful lesson in strategy and commitment. By staying true to what made them great in the first place, freshness, customization, and a strong company culture, they not only survived but thrived in incredibly diverse markets. Their story shows that global growth is possible without selling out, but only if that growth is thoughtful, deliberate, and deeply rooted in the core values that define your brand. By the early 2020s, Five Guys has cemented its place as a top-tier burger brand, not just in the US but across the globe. From its humble start in Arlington, Virginia to hundreds of stores on multiple continents, its journey is a masterclass in vision, discipline, and a non-stop commitment to quality. While other fast food giants chased trends and marketing gimmicks, Five Guys stuck to one simple rule that defined it from day one: make every burger, every fry, and every customer interaction consistently great. This peak success wasn't just luck. Every single decision was made to reinforce the core identity of Five Guys. The kitchens were always open and transparent, letting you see the care that goes into making your food. Employee training was rigorous, ensuring that a staff member in Virginia followed the exact same high standards as one in London. Franchisees were closely monitored and supported to keep everyone aligned with the company's core values. This unwavering dedication to quality built a level of loyalty that went beyond a simple transaction. Customers didn't just eat at Five Guys. They became its biggest advocates. Digital innovation also played a huge part in their continued growth. Five Guys saw early on that people wanted more convenience and were using their phones for everything. So, they invested in online ordering systems, mobile apps, and digital loyalty programs. But they did it smartly, without messing up the in-store experience. You could order ahead for pickup or delivery, but your food was still made with the same fresh-to-order standards. These digital platforms also allowed them to connect with customers on a personal level. rewarding loyal fans and encouraging them to come back for more. By mixing new tech with their classic methods, Five Guys created a seamless experience that appealed to modern consumers while keeping the authentic vibe that made them famous. Their marketing strategy also evolved. Five Guys continued to rely on word of mouth and social media, but they added strategic campaigns that highlighted the brand's quality, customization, and cool factor. The open kitchen, the massive portions of fries, and the vibrant, fresh look of the food were all perfect for sharing online. Every customer visit became a potential marketing opportunity. Hashtags like #5Guys and #BurgerPerfection trended across platforms, boosting their reach without needing a massive ad budget. By this point, Five Guys had become a symbol of smart entrepreneurship and operational excellence. Business analysts often point to the brand as a case study in how to grow with consistency and a customer-first mindset. Despite intense competition, the Morel family's creation carved out a dedicated niche, winning over both casual diners and hardcore burger lovers. Their simple menu, strict operational discipline, and focus on authenticity proved you could scale up without selling out. The cultural impact of Five Guys is undeniable. It became a favorite for millennials and Gen Z who value authenticity and what their peers recommend. Influencers and bloggers regularly featured their visits, showing off the experience of hand-formed patties, overflowing fry cups, and endless topping combinations. The brand's reputation as the burger you can trust was cemented by glowing reviews, a legion of loyal fans, and a growing footprint in international markets. Whether in London, Asia, or the Middle East, the Five Guys formula worked, proving that quality, transparency, and customization are universal values. The Five Guys story isn't just about burgers. It's about brilliant strategy and flawless execution. The morals showed that a strong brand identity, combined with careful growth and a focus on the customer experience, creates lasting value. They put culture, operational excellence, and authenticity ahead of short-term profits. This ensured the company's reputation stays solid even as it expanded at lightning speed. For entrepreneurs and marketers, the lessons are crystal clear. First, consistency is everything. Delivering the same great product every single time builds trust and loyalty that money can't buy. Second, culture is key. When your employees believe in the brand's values, they become your greatest asset. Third, growth has to be strategic. Expanding is only worth it if you can maintain quality and strengthen your brand's identity. Fourth, authenticity wins. People are drawn to real, genuine experiences, not manufactured hype. And finally, adapt without losing your soul. Five Guys successfully brought in digital ordering and expanded globally without watering down their core product, a tricky balance that many brands get wrong. As Five Guys continues its global journey, the brand remains dedicated to these founding principles. Their future will likely involve more international stores, even better tech integration, and deeper connections with customers through loyalty programs and social media. But the soul of Five Guys' fresh ingredients, customizable burgers, and an authentic experience will always be the North Star guiding every decision. From their original Virginia kitchen to the bustling streets of London, Tokyo, and beyond. For us here at Rise Chrono, Five Guys is more than just a fast food chain. It's a powerful case study in building a resilient, recognizable, and beloved brand from the ground up. The journey from a small Arlington shop with 4 sons working the counter to a global burger empire shows the incredible power of vision, discipline, and an unwavering focus on what really matters, the customer experience. If you're an aspiring entrepreneur, marketer, or just a business enthusiast, take this story to heart. The smallest decisions, how you source your ingredients, train your team, and treat your customers all add up over time. They define your brand, shape your reputation, and decide whether you become a temporary trend or a lasting legacy. Five Guys built an empire because they stayed true to their principles while embracing growth, innovation, and the culture around them. And that adds the story of Five Guys. A humble family-owned burger joint that grew into a billion-dollar empire, loved all around the world. From Arlington to London, Tokyo, and beyond, their journey shows how consistency, culture, and strategic foresight can turn a small idea into a global sensation. If you enjoyed this story and want to discover more amazing business successes, subscribe to Rise Chrono and hit that notification bell so you never miss an inspiring episode. Comment below and let us know which brand story you want us to cover next. Your suggestion might just be our next video. Thanks for watching.